This week, the Climate Commission issued a grim warning that the Territory will get hotter and extreme weather events like cyclones and bushfires will become more frequent. That's not great news for residents still recovering from last wet season, which was the wettest on record. The Weather Bureau's Doctor Andrew Tupper joined me to discuss the forecast for the coming months. Dr. Andrew Tupper, welcome to the program.
Pleasure.
It was a huge wet season last year. Can we expect the same again this year?
One thing I've learned from being here 20 years in the Bureau is expect the unexpected. We're expecting at least a solid wet season, hopefully not as extreme as the last one, but pretty full on.
There was dozens of houses flooded last year as a result of the heavy rain. Should property owners be prepared for a similar event?
We are looking at another La Nina, not as strong, but still significant there. So we should always prepare for flooding and cyclones, but there's probably a bit of extra reason.
When would we expect our first cyclone?
Yeah, there's a couple of things going on. Firstly, with the La Nina, the sea surface temperatures are a little bit warmer than normal, and so the average monsoon onset, which is also in cyclones form, is probably brought forward a little bit, meaning mid-December.
Can we expect more cyclones as well this coming season?
The Territory tends to get 2 to 3 cyclones form in Territory waters on average. We're going for average to above average. So once again, we'd be looking for 2 to 3. That doesn't mean 2 to 3 coastal crossings, but 2 to 3 cyclones that are named passing through. And of course, it just takes one coastal crossing to cause a lot of mayhem.
There's a widely held perception extreme weather events are becoming more and more common, not just in Australia, around the world. Is there any scientific basis for that idea?
A couple of answers to that. Firstly, as a forecaster, you tend to live in the moment, and so it's actually hard to be objective about that. When you look at what's being published in the world of climate science, there's a lot of discussion about whether, for example, more intense cyclones have been observed. The Territory isn't the place where you would spot that first because our weather is so noisy, if I can put it like that. We have so much variability that you go to a place like the Northwest Pacific or the Atlantic to try and pick up those trends, and that's where there's a lot of discussion. One other thing I would say, though, is that regardless of the actual occurrence, and certainly there's forecast to be an increase in severe events, but the public focus, the media focus, and our global awareness has increased massively while I've been in the job, so that even if things stayed exactly the same, the expectations and the attention and also the risk that these systems cause with the increase on population, they've all gone up as well. So it's a bit hard to be objective, but there's a few factors in there.
At the other extreme, those in Central Australia are experiencing the opposite with bushfires. Can they expect any relief?
I guess there's good news and bad news with bushfires. As we know, it's been a really bad season, and one of the remarkable things about the season is that it wasn't particularly hot during the winter, and yet the Alice still had a lot of fires and a lot of early fires. So now there's been a bit of a rain, particularly in the southwest Alice in the last few days. There's still a lot of subsurface moisture around. It wouldn't take much to have a lot more growth. So in the short term, if there's more rain, that's great, and obviously we love things to be growing. But I guess if next winter is anything like the winter that the Alice has just had, we might once again see this thing of going into the dry and maybe having the grasses dry off quickly. So obviously it's worth talking to the bushfire experts from a weather point of view. There's a good chance of more grass growth this summer in the Alice.
Dr. Andrew Tupper, thanks for talking with us.
Real pleasure, thank you.